made it. And of course, I have to showcase what Africa can do, what Nigeria fashion industry can do to the world.
All right. So being a veteran, what are your expectations from tonight's event?
Well, my expectation, first of all, is to see that the work we've been doing is getting more higher ground. I need to sit down, enjoy myself among my colleagues. But beyond that, I want to see Nollywood grow beyond what it is right now. I think we have come a long way from the time we shot Living in Bondage in 1992. We shot it on VHS. Today, it's all digital. Now, having got into this digital age and digital level and doing productions that can be premiered outside this country, I think it's also high time that we went into co-productions with our counterparts in more developed society like Europe and America. We have a lot of good stories to tell out of Africa, to let the world know that this is the real Africa, unlike what people from Europe and America were doing before, telling the world about Africa in their own perspective. Today we need to collaborate with those people from Europe and America to be able to tell our stories on the world stage. If Nollywood is the number 3 in terms of production output in movie making in the world after America and India, I think we have a gold mine here. I also want the government to come in more and take this industry seriously, more seriously, because beyond civil service, which is government, Nollywood is the entertainment industry is the second highest employer of labor in Nigeria. It's on record. And so such industry should not be allowed to suffer. The image that we as practitioners in Nollywood take out there, which is very positive, is rubbing off on our country. We are among those who are presenting Nigeria in a very good picture. Therefore, we should be able to show something for that effort we're making by government being part of the industry and helping us to grow more and more.
All right, listening to you, this sounds like a manifesto. Should we be looking at Bob Manuel going for a political position anytime soon?
Incidentally, right now I'm the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, on creative media, movie and entertainment industry. So I'm there. I'm there already, and that's why I advocate for a better deal for Nollywood, because I mean I'm still in Nollywood. I'm still in Nollywood, so this is my constituency, primary constituency, man.
Who am I to query God?
I'm like, after everything I've done.
Most of us are fighting for our personal interests.
Fire started exactly 10:30.
If I wasn't a DJ, I'd be in construction, a mechanic.
I have several children.
If entertainment is going to be our second biggest export in the country now, we do need to invest properly in structure.
I don't know where we're heading. Then I'm reminded that Nigeria has been close to the brink on so many other occasions, and God has been merciful to pull us back from that brink and save this country. It's a big one, just
Bisola is an household name in the entertainment industry. How you doing, Bisola?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Really gorgeous, and you look more beautiful in person. I must say.
Thank you very
much. With a beautiful smile.
Thank you very much.
Am I patronizing you too much? All right. So, what do you look forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to so many winners. I'm looking for, and obviously my friends are part of those winners. I'm looking forward to an awesome night. This is actually my first time at the AMVCAs, and I'm performing. So I'm hoping that my performance is awesome, as usual, as well, rather. And yes, I'm just looking for, so looking forward to something great tonight.
Spoiler alert, I was backstage when she was doing a rehearsal yesterday. The performance is going to be lit. Do not go home till Bisola is done. I'm telling you. All right, so Bisola, are you rooting for anyone in particular tonight?
I'm rooting for so many people, and I had to split my votes to about 4 of my friends. I don't want to mention names because the other people that I didn't get to vote, but see, it was limited. It was just 100 votes, so I had to share it. So I'm just rooting for all my friends. There are too many. This is the industry we're in, so there are so many, and I'm rooting for all of them.
You look very beautiful. Did you put this together by yourself, or do you have a stylist?
This beautiful dress was made by someone. I don't really have a stylist, but Someone by Someone is an awesome designer, and she decided to just whip something up for me, and she came up with this beautiful dress.
All right, so what's new with Bisola? What has Bisola been up to so far?
Bisola has been recording a lot of songs. As you know, I released my playlist in March with 6 tracks. There's more music that I've been recording, and also movies. Some would be out before the end of the year, 2018. And you know how the movie industry is. You make a lot of movies, but it depends on when the producer is ready to release them that they get to release them. So yes, there's been lots of acting, there's been lots of movies, shows are coming up, so many things. You're here, so you'll get to see everything.
Watch this space, like we always say. Bisola is going to be giving us an amazing performance tonight, and we wish you the best of luck in there. I am with no other person than Frederick Leonard, and the crowd goes,
Thank you.
How you feeling tonight, bro?
I feel great, bruv.
Man, with that energy, definitely we should be expecting a great presentation.
I did tell you they're going to see something tonight.
Go see something. You're looking all dapper, man. Come on, how did you come up with this?
I just tried. Don't mind me. You know, tonight I'm preaching love, yeah?
Yeah.
You know I'm still in the market. You know I'm single, yeah?
Yeah.
Not like I'm searching, but hey, you don't say if you search, you can't eye.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm doing tonight. So I'm preaching love. You see this, right?
I'm following your footsteps.
I did tell you.
My own is smaller one. Though.
Yeah, but mine are big. I like my things big.
So you will get them bigger.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
All right. So you're presenting an award tonight.
Yeah.
Are you rooting for the person you're presenting the award to?
No, there are 4, 5, or 6 people in the category. How can I possibly?
What are you rooting for?
They all have their individual strengths, so you cannot compare one actor to the other. It's not right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what's new with you? What have you been up to so far?
I produced my first movie this year.
Oh yeah.
Titled Grey.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been wanting me to get into production, so I've done it.
Finally.
So I hope they come out to see Grey.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come out to see Grey. We decided we're going to come in with a swag on Plus TV Africa since we have the matching prints going on. And you know, we caught up with Oreka Goddess at the Moms at War premiere. And right now, she's at the African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards, the prestigious award.
Your energy is just on a level.
Oh, yeah. Is that a good thing or
It's
a bad
good.
thing?
Like, you're so hype. It's awesome.
That's great because you're hyping me up too. I'm being with you, it's enough hype for me, you know, right? You're my claim to fame. So what are you looking forward to tonight?
I am looking forward to the most. I mean, obviously, the people who've been nominated, well done. A lot of them worked very hard to be here today. But my manager's been nominated, and for me, I'm very excited. He was part of the guys who put together music for a movie called Banana Island Ghosts.
Yeah.
And so he's nominated, and I really, really hope he wins. His name is Enyo Merua. You're a winner in my eyes.
Oh, yeah, and you look... Come on. I already said that already, but I can't stop talking about your looks, man. This is so different, so unique, so gorgeous. Who put this together for you, and how long did it take you to put this together?
My stylist, her name is Zedai, and it took maybe 3 or 4 hours, but most of it was the hair. You know,
oh, yeah.
We didn't need any makeup on my face.
And that is
you know,
so natural, Afrocentric. You know, let's give them that swag again. Yeah. That's how we do it on Plus TV Africa. Stay tuned, and we're gonna have an amazing night. Oreka Goddess, thanks for being with us. I just caught up with Kalu Ikagu, one of the veteran actors in Nigeria, a very popular face. Like I told you, this is a star-studded event. How are you feeling today, Mr. Kalu?
I'm feeling very, very good.
You're feeling very, very good. I must say you look really amazing. Who styled you, Kalu?
I'm wearing Vance Kerry. He outfitted me. He's been outfitting me for the past 5 years.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So what are you looking forward to from this event tonight?
Nothing much, just have lots of fun. I came out with my wife, give her a special treat, and I hope to see her. I've seen a lot of colleagues I haven't seen in a long while outside the work environment. I've met quite a few people in the industry that I haven't seen in a long time. So it's largely a time of catch up, enjoyment, just having good fun.
Are you nominated for any movie tonight?
Yes, I was nominated for Best Actor in a Drama and Best Actor in a Comedy.
Oh, wow. So definitely you must be going home with one of those.
Well, that's not my priority. I just came here to enjoy myself. Yes.
I have some super star-studded people with me, and they're not even from Nigeria. They're from Uganda. Like, oh my God, this is my first time meeting Ugandans. How you doing? Really? Eleanor and Matthew. Definitely. So, is this your first time attending the AMVCA?
Actually, it's the second time.
It's the second time. When was your first time?
The first time was 2014, where I won the award of Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor in a Supporting Role.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, what are you nominated for an award this evening?
Yes, we are nominated for producing a feature film called Rain, in the category of Best Movie in the East African category. Yeah.
And we are definitely rooting for you. Definitely. And how's it been being in Nigeria? I know you've been here before, but how has your stay been so far?
So far, so good. Everything has been rush, but yeah, we're having the best of it.
Yeah, we've had a great time, except for the too much pepper. Everything
too much pepper.
Oh, the food is too hot.
Are you sure you guys have been going to some Yoruba restaurant?
we didn't have
Echo
to go
Hotel.
to Echo. Even at Echo, there was pepper, and I got the chance to test the fufu.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah,
and you liked it.
Yeah, and the
how about you? You like the fufu too?
I like it. I really love it, and mostly the salad and the macaroni. And one good with pepper soup. It really burns.
Okay. So you guys can come to me. I will teach you how to pound some fufu and do the egusi. That would be great, right? Okay. All right. So, any highlights for tonight? Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we're looking forward to winning.
Definitely. Yeah. And like I said earlier, we are rooting for you.
Thank you.
All right, you're still locked to Plus TV Africa, and we are still at the glamorous event of the African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards 2018, and it is star-studded, I must confess. And right now, I just caught up with Mr. Ike Okechukwu and Mrs. Florence Okechukwu. I don't know why I'm in the middle. It's more like I'm trying to put asunder right now. But how are you guys feeling today?
We're good, we're awesome, we're fine, we're fantastic.
Yeah. What are you expecting from the event?
Oh, the usual. Glamour, glitz, fun, film, fashion, name it, yeah.
All right, so are you nominated for any award this year?
No. We came to cheer our people that are nominated.
All right, so who are the people you're actually rooting for tonight?
So many people, actually, so many people.
Just give us like two names.
Funlola Awefebi and Adeswa.
All right, what about you?
Same here, but add OC to the mix.
Okay, we need to mix that, right? Okay, it has to be a balance. You can't have it all, you know that. So definitely tonight is going to be glamorous. We look up to the AMVCA every year, and they have never disappointed. So what do you think will be the highlight of tonight?
Like she said, glamour, glitz, the performances. I'm looking forward to performances. I heard that there are some, people are coming to perform for us to, watch and all that. So basically everything.
Right. So you're looking forward to Pals the Bad
Oh, yeah.
And Pals the Bad Guy is one of the nominees. So we should be rooting for him.
Yeah. You see, the mix is endless.
Yeah, the mix is endless. So definitely it's going to be a night of glitz, glamour, and a lot of fun. And thanks for being with us on Plus TV. And we look forward to seeing you inside really soon.
fairness, justness, balance, and credibility, as well as integrity. That's what Plus TV Africa is. The way people are going to be able to trust anything that comes out of this continent is when those who are the storyteller about the continent are reliable, dependable, and credible. Tell the story with the emotion of Africans, with the passion of Africans, with the interest of Africans. The story changes from here right now on Plus TV Africa.
Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, is a businessman, investor, and founder of Dangote Group. He was born in Kano, Nigeria in 1957. Dangote lost his father at a very young age, but this never deterred him from excelling. He recalls having a knack for business right from elementary school, where he sold cartons of sweet to make profit. He obtained his bachelor's degree in business studies and administration from Al-Azhar University in Cairo. Dangote Group, which he started as a small trading firm, kicked off in 1977 with a seed capital of $3,000, which he borrowed from his uncle at age 21. Dangote Group has over time evolved into becoming the largest industrial group in Nigeria, including Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar Refinery, and Dangote Flour, and his most recent project, Dangote Oil Refinery. He expresses his patriotism to Nigeria and Africa, not only in words but charitable deeds. He donated 150 million naira to stop the spread of Ebola in 2014. In 2018, he built a 1.2 billion naira business school in Bayero University, Kano. He was conferred with Nigeria's second highest honor, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, by the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Forbes ranked him first place as the richest man in Africa. Dangote is married and has 3 children. And this is the Mogul in 90 seconds.
Hello there, many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. I'm David Alabia, and here are the stories making the headlines. Now we begin our news bulletin with party politics in Nigeria. Kwara State Governor Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed has declared his intention to contest for the Kwara State senatorial seat under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a follow-up tweet, the governor explained his decision, saying, quote, "In response to calls by my people and in keeping with my strong desire to upscale the excellent work we have done in all 3 zones of the state through effective, purposeful representation, I have picked up the PDP nomination form for Kwara South Senatorial District." End of quote. Meanwhile, Kwara Central Senatorial candidate in 2015 elections, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, and a former Kwara State governorship aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Sunday Babalola, have said they defected from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress with over 120,000 supporters to rescue Kwara State from alleged maladministration. That's according to them. Mr. Abdurrazak said the residents of the state were ready for change, adding that politicians in APC are now more focused in dislodging the ruling elite in the state. Between the 2 former PDP stalwarts are about 300,000 supporters. Still talking party politics, All Progressives Congress has extended the deadline for the sale and submission of its nomination forms for presidential, governorship, National Assembly and House of Assembly aspirants. The party's timetable was published this week, showing its schedule of activities in preparation for the 2019 general elections. According to the timetable, the sale of forms was to last 5 days, from September 5 to September 10. However, the party's publicity secretary Yekini Nabena said the party has extended the deadline from September 10 to September 11. And now outgoing governor of Ekiti State and a strong critic of the President Buhari administration, Ayodele Fayose, has dropped his ambition to run for presidency. Mr. Fayose on Saturday said he was discounting his 2019 presidential ambition. The governor was one of the earliest persons in the country to indicate intention to contest for the nation's #1 position early in the year, in spite of warnings that the party zoned the position to the north. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar III, has directed Muslims to watch out for the new moon of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar, from Sunday, September 9. Professor Sambo Junaidu, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto, said, quote, Muslims are therefore requested to start looking for the new moon and report its sighting on the nearest district or village. Head for onward communication to the Sultan, end of quote. The Sultan wished Muslims guidance in the discharge of their religious obligations. And now to some security matters. Elder statesman Edwin Clark says the sack of the policeman who carried out the raid in his Asokoro residence in the Nigerian capital for alleged possession of arms and ammunition was not enough if future occurrences must be averted. The 92-year-old elder statesman has called on the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to carry out a holistic investigation into the matter with a view to getting those involved to answer. He also insists that the dismissed policeman could have not acted or gotten a search warrant without directives from a superior officer. It will be recalled that on Tuesday, Nigeria police raided the home of the nonagenarian. International Literacy Day is next. The Education Committee of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, Lagos State Chapter, have called a press briefing to unveil her intention to assist government to grow education in Nigeria. They also shared their thoughts on literacy and skill acquisition, which is the focus of this year's International Literacy Day, marked on September 8th. The report.
The importance of education in the development of any nation cannot be overemphasized. These organizers say informed their desire to bring about the needed change in Nigeria's educational system.
If we sit down and keep waiting for government officials to wake up someday and begin to move Nigeria in the right direction, we probably will have to wait forever. Our objective is to make Nigeria a net exporter of educational services within the next 5 years.
Some of the education stakeholders present at the briefing had this to say.
The method of teaching largely in Nigeria now is, we've already said it is so obsolete. We give instruction, we don't challenge them to think, we think for them. I would like to see extensive workshop on teaching methods.
Each time you want to put a table on the best schools in the world, over 100, none of the Nigerian schools have been mentioned. What's the problem?
They also share their thoughts on the integrated approach that supports literacy and skills development ahead of the International Literacy Day, which focuses on literacy and skills development.
Literacy has gone beyond our ability to read and write in English, our ability to read and write in Yoruba. We have several other literacies, internet literacy, that enables children to acquire skills that enable them to know where the information is. Literacy is key, but we must define it well. You shouldn't begin and end with writing well in English.
If you are able to read and write and really understand what it is and apply skills to it, I'm not sure we will be having this rate of unemployment in Nigeria.
I don't think we have hit the average target, not at all, because right from the stakeholders, from the regulators, we talk it, but we really don't do it. So we need to invest in education. We need to see models outside and see how we can bring them inside. A lot has been said, a lot has been planned, but it has to be something we decide to do and we invest in it.
A very small group of educationists talking about education, literacy and skill development. How do we move the over 60 million Nigerians who are illiterate to literacy and development, which will invariably enhance our economy. What are our roles as individuals and as government? I am Felicity Ezewike for Plus TV Africa.
Still on the rains, Nigeria's emergency stakeholders have warned residents to make preparations for severe flooding in the upcoming days. Speaking to a cross-section of newsmen in Abuja, the nation's capital, after a meeting of the nation's flood emergency response agencies, they say indices which resulted to Nigeria's worst flooding in decades, which occurred in 2012, have already manifested. They are also urging states to put its residents on red alert and prepare for evacuation when the floodings begin.
The flood alert, as released by NISA, indicated that riparian states and communities by the banks of River Niger and Benue may be flooded due to systematic daily rise in the water level from both rivers, Niger and Benue. Accordingly to the release by the NISA, recorded from their monitoring stations in Lokoja at River Niger and Makodi at River Benue, call for the need to be watchful for the likelihood of occurrence of flooding. It was confirmed by NISA that Shiroro Dam has joined Kainji and Jeba dams in releasing water, which has contributed to the steady rise in the water level.
Rainfall could still continue up to October. Then southern coastal states in Nigeria or cities, NIMET says rainfall will stop earliest by December. So with these figures, it means that we still have 3 more weeks of rainfall in the northern part of Nigeria. And then all these things we have narrated here about the current stage, the discharge, it means, like was mentioned by the Director General, that all the indices with regard to 2012 have already manifested. The remaining one is the release of water from Lado Dam.
The rest of the news at this hour continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Hey, Anu! Dad. Look, I got something for you.
A football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I. Please, come.
I'm okay, thanks.
The kind of person that you asked me to be. My brother say you love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But it's strange.
Did you see how many goals you have scored?
I know get you.
You scored 2.
I look up like this, say who are you?
So Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
Game's about to start. Quick, please.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching news on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. And here's our Africa news package. Egypt has sentenced 75 people to death in mass trial that involved 739 people, including prominent Islamist leaders, over a 2013 pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in, which ended with the killings of protesters in support of former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi. The verdict by Judge Hassan Farid El Shami was announced on Saturday in Cairo's heavily fortified Torah prison courthouse. Others tried in the case include Brotherhood spiritual leader Mohamed Bedi, and 46 others were handed life sentences. The trial has been condemned by Amnesty International as a grotesque parody of justice. And according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, 1 million people are on the brink of famine in South Sudan due to insecurity and lack of humanitarian access. Humanitarian organizations are urgently appealing for funding to respond to the escalating crisis.
According to the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, 1 million people are on the brink of famine in South Sudan due to insecurity and lack of humanitarian access. Famine was declared in February in 2 countries as 100,000 people faced starvation. The famine is attributed to armed conflicts, displacement, missed cropping seasons, and livestock raiding. Humanitarian organizations are urgently appealing for funding to respond to the escalating crisis. $1.6 billion is required to provide life-saving assistance.
We do have the food supplies here, but it's not just about food. It's importantly also about nutrition. And we really need relative peace and security so we can have a greater footprint of humanitarian workers here to provide nutrition services, to provide health services, to provide water, sanitation, and health.
We need to have safety and security in this location before we can come back to do the distribution as we're going to do now, but more importantly, to be able to establish much longer term activities.
At the height of the rain season in July, it is expected that some 5.5 million people will be severely food insecure across the country. Since December 2013, about 1.9 million people in South Sudan have been internally displaced, and some 1.8 million have fled as refugees to neighboring countries.
Politician Robert Kyagulanyi alias Bobby Wine and his wife Barbara Itungo alias Barbie have met with Bradley Sherman, a United States congressman. The meeting comes after Bobby Wine, who traveled to the United States for specialized treatment, held a press conference in Washington, D.C. alongside his lawyer, Robert Amsterdam. Mr. Sherman is serving as a Democratic member of the United States House of Representatives since 1997. He currently represents California's 30th Congressional District within San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles County and the East Simi Hills in Ventura County. Mr. Kyagulanyi became a member of parliament in 2017, firing up a youthful population and proving to be a thorn in the side of President Museveni. He was charged with treason last month after protesters allegedly stoned Museveni's car during a by-election campaign. It's now time to take another quick break. We'll bring you our foreign news package.
Sometimes life has more questions than answers, and every teardrop seems to drown your laughter. But even when it hurts, there's someone who knows that everybody hurts, everybody cries, everybody walks along the lonely road sometimes. Let me take your hand, I will be a friend, because to me your happiness is just as good as mine.
since 1970.
And on the foreign scene, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has said the United States constantly sends messages to Iran to begin negotiations. Iran is facing an economic, psychological and propaganda war, Rouhani said on Saturday, pointing to America and Israel as the Islamic Republic's main enemies. United States sanctions targeting Iran's oil sector are scheduled to be reimposed in November. Tensions ramped up between Iran and the United States after President Donald Trump pulled out of a landmark nuclear deal with Iran in May and reimposed sanctions on the Islamic Republic last month. President Trump has said he would meet Iran's leaders. And China's trade surplus. China's trade surplus with the United States widened to a record in August, even as the country's export growth slowed slightly, an outcome that could push President Donald Trump to turn up the heat on Beijing in their cankerous trade dispute. The politically sensitive surplus hit $31.05 billion in August, up from $28.09 billion in July, customs data showed on Saturday, surpassing the previous record set in June. Over the first 8 months of the year, China's surplus with its largest export market has risen nearly 15%, adding to tensions in the trade relationships between the two world's largest economies. China's import from the United States grew only by 2.7% in August, a slowdown from 11.1% in July. Sweden Prime Minister Stefan Löfven has begun the final day of the general election campaign by warning about extremism and fascism. Neither his center-left Social Democrats nor the main center-right party is likely to win a majority. The anti-immigration Sweden Democrats is expected to win around 20% of the vote, becoming the second biggest party in parliament. Mr. Löfven said an SD vote was dangerous and counterproductive. He said it was like trying to quench fire with alcohol, according to the Omni news site. Immigration has been a central issue of the election campaigns. And now at least 14 people have died and several others injured when a bus carrying domestic tourists crashed and plunged into a riverine on the Indonesian island of Java. Police said the crash happened when the bus with at least 30 people on board was heading to a holiday spot in Sukabumi region, West Java. The vehicle was seen speeding downhill and lost control before plunging into a 10-meter deep ravine. Police suspect a mechanical failure after finding the vehicle's roadworthy certificate had expired in 2016. And now it's time to talk business.
Happy Hour, burst of refreshment. Available in peach, tropical fruit, apple peach pear, kiwi mint lime, and guava. Chi Happy Hour, burst of refreshment.
House of Chi.
business news, China's surplus hit $31.05 billion in August against the $28.09 billion recorded in July. This was revealed in the customs data on Saturday, surpassing the previous record set in June. Over the first 8 months of the year, China's surplus has risen nearly 15%, with its largest export market. This will now add to tensions in the trade relationship between the two world's largest economies, that's China and the United States. Despite U.S. tariffs targeting $50 billion of Chinese exports in effect for their first full month in August, China's exports to the United States still accelerated, growing by 13.2% from a year earlier, from 11.2% in July. However, China's imports from the United States grew only 2.7% in August, a slowdown from 11.1% in July. And still on China, recently calculated total exports to Nigeria from China amounted to about $75 billion, while on the Nigerian side, total exports to China was about $9.6 billion. This took the total trade volume between the two countries as of July this year to about $85 billion. The Economic and Commercial Counselor, China Embassy in Nigeria, Zahor Lin Jiang, disclosed this at a press briefing on the outcomes of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Summit. Similarly, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Ackroyd, said the United Kingdom was poised to double the annual trade volume of £4.2 billion between the two countries. The African Development Bank says it has approved $15 million for equity investment in Vert Capital Growth Fund 3, a private equity fund for investment in high-growth middle-market companies. The bank said the figure was approved by its board of directors of companies in Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, and will be in consumer-driven sectors, including light industrials, fast-moving consumer goods, education, financial services, and agro-processing. Mr. Abdul Mukhtar, the Africa Development Bank's Director of Industrial and Trade Development, says the ticket size for each investment will be between $5 million and $20 million. He also added that the fund would help accelerate investment in small and medium-scale enterprises in the West African region. That's it on business news, but still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We'll be back in a moment.
I am gap-toothed black girl, back corner of class, scribbling left-handed poetry on blank paper. Save the school's curriculum for later. I am overflowing tales by moonlight, that informal education. Trickling off the tip of my grandmother's tongue, you will find my mother's tongue here. A fast and fluent Yoruba, crisscrossing English, hidden messages in prose and proverbs call it Yorubanglish. And I am the miracle of melody, nestled deep in the groove of a rich high-life rhythm, a child of the marriage of hip-hop and Afro beats, and you can hear our voices pulsing beneath the skin of a talking drum, commanding hips to move without caution. And I am sky-high, gele, bold, and beautiful. We redefine fashion, wear our stories around our necks and from our ears so we never forget the voices of our ancestors. This heritage, this heartbeat, this is who I am. Heritage Bank, your timeless wealth partner.
It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full-on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got two of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
And in entertainment news, iconic music star Sade Adu is set to drop a second single this year, The Big Unknown. The new single will premiere on Hollywood movie Widows by director Steve McQueen. According to The Native, the music star made a decision to feature on the film, which was based on a love for the 1983 British TV series Widows. McQueen disclosed that, quote, "It was an honor to work with such a legend. Sade is an incomparable talent, an incredible artist who so rarely releases new material," end of quote. And still on entertainment news, according to Deadline.com, Netflix has acquired world rights to Nigerian producer Genevieve Inaji's movie Lionheart. Prior to its premiere in Toronto tomorrow, the movie will premiere at Toronto International Film Festival 2018. Stars like Onyeka Onwenu, Kalu Kiagu, Peter Doche, and more will be present at the directorial debut of Genevieve Inaji. And now, the very best in sports comes right after this. And in sports news, to some exciting information, the Super Eagles of Nigeria has just defeated Seychelles 3-0 in an African Cup of Nations 29 qualifier. Ahmed Musa, Chidozie Awazim and Odion Ihalo got the goals for Nigeria, who have now 3 points out of the 2 matches. And sports wraps our news update at this hour. For more news, updates and broadcasts, please follow us at Plus TV Africa. That's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do remember to subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines across the African continent and the rest of the world. Many thanks for watching. I'm David Alabi, and join us again.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time Roundup. On this program, we bring you the most magical moments from our entertainment news program, Tea Time. So if you've missed some of the episodes of Tea Time during the course of this week, here's your chance to catch up on some of the most fascinating highlights. Take a look. Omotola Jalade, who shades half-naked women at the MVCAs, but I may have gotten it wrong. So, like,
I think this was taken out of context.
Context, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. No, she wasn't shading anyone.
She reposted what
the fan said. Yeah, so, I mean, this is what I'm saying about the standards of, like, our standards always change when it's at home. Like, sorry, we happily watch the Grammys and the Met Gala, and we're praising all these American stars that are naked, but once it's at home, it's like, oh, she shouldn't be wearing that, oh, she's married, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. No, like, if she's going to do a sex scene in a film, she can be naked on the red carpet. And also, naked is relative. Like, everyone thought that Lillian lady was naked. In my opinion, she was not naked. Oh, because you could see her G-string. Big deal. Like,
look, another thing is,
perhaps that was even part of the intention.
I was there and I saw at least most of the ladies, and they all looked really nice.
In their own way.
Nudity.
Like I said, Rita Dominic was covered up. She looked really, really elegant. Lillian was half
even though Omotola was well covered.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what the big deal is. I think people are drawing it, like pulling it out of context.
But it was normal. It was expected of people to say that already.
But talking of Omotola, she's been saying a lot of shady things lately.
Yes.
Because Dorcas, Dorcas Shola Fapson, also said that she had a personal encounter. I mean, she referred to a personal encounter with her, and she suggested that basically, you know, they always tell you never to meet your stars because your heroes even, because obviously, like, you know, they might disappoint you and reduce your standard, because she said that she's always loved and respected her, and then whatever happened between them made her want to rant, but obviously Nepa took light, so she couldn't rant anymore.
Well, Shola, I really do not care what you think of Omotola, but I met Omotola one-on-one. I spoke to Omotola. Omotola is a pretty nice, super lady.
And also, you can't use your experience for
that's what I'm saying. I don't care about that experience, but when I met Omotola, and I'm not even in the movie industry, and she was super cool to me. She spoke to me. She gave me a personal contact. She gave me a lot of attention.
If
she was
this
walking
is
in
true,
a hurry.
though, if this is true, do you think by any chance has got to do with just both of them, you know, because they're in the same industry?
Yeah, I feel like Dorcas is an aspiring actor. No offense, I know, shout out to Dorcas, but no offense, she made a lot of like, oh yeah, I didn't win, but I'm still a win. Like there was a lot of
she was just bitter.
A lot of bitterness, a lot of bitterness
for not winning.
For not winning, and also like she's not exactly got the cleanest of track records. I mean, she's had a few scandals herself this year. She's known to have a bit of an attitude herself. So you know, you don't throw what's it called? Don't throw stones in a glass house. And finally as well. She never said what happened.
Exactly.
I mean, if it was such a big deal, then say what happened. Like, don't say, oh, I'm not going to rank.
So my point is like, this is just to draw attention.
And also, like, she needs to be careful because at the end of the day, if you're in a Nigerian acting industry, Omotola is one of the veterans. You don't want to be calling her out because it will come back to bite you in the ass.
And then Omotola is so humble to the point that the last time when a fan was like, oh, I met Omotola at the airport and she was...
I don't know about that. I think she picks and chooses.
You know, she came back and she apologized to the fan.
Okay.
She did.
Yeah, but that's for her public image.
Yeah, but I think in this case...
I watched Omotola's reality show and she is a diva. Like,
Omotola is a diva, no doubt. But when I spoke to Omotola, she was super
That's what I'm saying. If you can't use just your single experience and then you've only known her for one second...
Yeah, literally.
So when we're talking, I told you, okay, Omotola is someone I've met severally.
Okay.
So I don't think that was the reason why she was nice to me. I think that's just who she is because every time I've had an encounter with Omotola, she has always been cool. So I don't know what people are saying about her. Or maybe it's just something about me.
People are always multifaceted. So, you know, what they show you at a certain time is always different from what...
Thank God, first time. I just said, maybe it's just about me. Maybe I just have such effect on people. Usually you would have rolled your eyes like, oh, there you go.
We didn't hear, that's why we're... I didn't hear you. Exactly, we've heard you now, so can we do the eye rolling now? Media personality Toke Makinwa runs into another problem just days after her backside became miraculously bigger. Okay, so what's this problem?
I want to go to that church, miraculously.
Take care.
Oh.
So I guess this is her way of admitting she's had her arse done.
Oops.
Apologies. Apologies.
Okay, wrong language, but...
Apologies, that she's had her derriere done.
Yes.
Because... like, it's a cheeky way. It's a very Kim K kind of response. Oh, yeah, well, now my waist is so small, I can't even fit into things. And
that's what I'm saying. You see, when I saw that
your
picture,
surgeon? Like, tell us who your surgeon is.
You see that picture that I saw? You know, I was telling you that she looks like Kim K. I think she's, like, trying to follow in the
footsteps. You know what my friend said to me the other day?
We
were discussing it. My friend was like, she's our Nigeria's, like, she's our very own Kim K. Nigeria's very own Kim K.
I think that's what she was going for. Because that look, when I looked at it, the first one, when we saw that her shape was different, you know, it resonated with me so much in my mind that I thought that was Kim K.
She hasn't just done a sex tape with the Nigerian Ray J.
Do you think she'll ever do that? Do you think she'll ever do that?
That's the whole like idea of her being Nigerian. She won't be as wild and crazy as Kim K.
But I think she wants to be following the footsteps.
But in terms of business, beauty and fashion, that is the kind of person she is.
But you know what? It's okay. You look beautiful regardless. Don't let nobody bring you down.
Advocate.
And I'm glad about the fact.
Money well spent.
Then I like when she said, my hair is growing, my skin is glowing. God is good. Like, okay, I'm getting better and better and better. It's getting better and better and better and better. We never expected it.
Her skin is glowing.
Yes. Yeah. What do you have to say about that?
She's using her, what's it called? Her skincare thing, her glowing thing.
Oh, and so now you're doing advert for...
I'm not. But her, I don't even know what it's called, but her skincare thing we spoke about before is hopefully what's making her glow. On the other hand, no, I'm not.
Yes, I understand,
Okay.
You're trying to be polite, but I know where you're going. Anyway, carry on.
Polite. I think she's just being real.
I'm being serious.
She's being polite. That's why she laughed.
No, she's being real with it. No, seriously.
She's being real. No, if she were real, she would have come out to say what she really wants to say.
Okay, so say what she really wanted to say.
No, don't let her say what she wants to say. I like your diplomacy.
I'm not being diplomatic. I'm being real, as you said.
Okay.
Her skin glowing thing is hopefully...
Let me laugh.
I'm not this...
Hopefully it's from her glowing skincare product.
Yes, the skin is glowing. Let's not get too real. The skin glows.
Yeah, I haven't seen her hair yet, so...
Well, she showed it off while she was trying to pick out something that would fit a tiny waist and a big...
I mean, I'm happy for the lady. I mean, more power to her.
But let me just, for those that don't know, what's she saying is the problem now?
She's saying that the problem is she can't get close to feet no more.
Her slim waist,
which is probably the the battle of everyone that's had a big big bum for a very long time. Like you can't fit into certain trousers, and obviously if you've got a smaller waist, they kind of do it in proportion to your waist.
She can adjust it.
I'll give her some tips. Go and try out Fashion Nova, try out Apple Bottom. You definitely find something.
Do you think she
Let me give you some tips. Obioma, those people that...
I mean, hello.
They will fix it for you,
and she will have more than enough of those.
What is that?
Seeing the roadside scenes.
You don't know London tailors. You're just a Londoner.
What, she should just go to a tailor?
Don't you know Obiomas? Those ones that carry the machine on their shoulder and they move
up and down the street.
Yeah. No, up and down the sky.
Sorry. I've only seen them once. I'm sorry.
You've only seen them
once. And it was outside, actually.
Okay.
I've never seen them before. Sorry, I missed your joke.
It's just a botsy.
Whatever.
Hey.
Davido, who says, my dad sent officers to arrest me and my promoters during my first show. So, very interesting, very revealing.
Yeah, if Fef thinks he's lying, go on.
Oh, Lord, why did you have to let the cat
out of the bag?
Why you always lying?
Why you always lying? Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord, Davido, why you a liar?
You're shady. You're so shady.
Like, come on.
Wait, why do you think he's lying?
Exactly, because I was just saying...
I had to scale the fence and run without shoes and everything. And my father was like, if you don't come back, all your friends are going to go to jail. So I was like...
Yeah, I know that bit was a bit No, but why do you think he was lying, though? You think it doesn't sound believable?
Because Davido is not that gangster. Davido is Ajebota. He should not be forming streets where he's not street. Davido is no street. Davido is no street. I'm going to say this with full confidence. The only street about Davido right now is this 30 billion gang which he has around him. But left
Do you not think his 30 billion gang make him street?
No, he was talking about when he was still in America. Then and his father wanted him to do music, and then he came back.
Didn't want him to do music.
I mean, that his father didn't want him to.
America.
So he left America, came back. His father didn't know he was in Nigeria. Then he was doing a show, and then his father brought like 50 police, like 50, just to arrest your son. Like, come on, man.
No, not just him, but he said he had his promotion. Oh.
So I don't think he's telling the truth either.
No, wait. Wait, let's milk it. Wait for it. She's about to dish out. Yeah. Exclusive.
I didn't think he's telling the truth because I've interviewed his dad before.
Okay.
And when I asked questions about how did you feel when your son said he wanted to do music and blah, 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 the first thing he said was that I wasn't pleased. I berated his older brother, who's the chairman, whatever his name is.
Chairman HK.
Yeah, to basically, why are you encouraging your brother to do so-and-so, right? And actually, I know his dad, and I'm not really sure his dad would have got people to arrest him. And his dad also said that when he told him he wanted to do music and he showed that he was serious, that actually the deal was you have to go to uni and then I'm going to get you a studio. We're going to make sure that you're good at what you're doing. And then there was a huge push for his music career. Yeah. So, and his dad also said in that same interview, actually, and I have the clip, I'll show it to you. Okay. His dad also said that he sent his then manager, Kamal Ajiboye, to uni, as well as the producer at the time, Sheezy. So his dad wanted him to go at all costs to make sure that he was studying and making sure that, you know, he had a backup plan. Similarly, his late mother was also an academic. I mean, his dad's got a PhD, his mum had a PhD. They've got, you would know, they've got a lot of kind of investments in Babcock University. So he comes from,
his mother was actually a lecturer in Babcock.
Yeah, exactly. And his family are quite academic. So I can understand if his dad was pushing the academic thing. What I don't believe is that your dad would then get 50 to arrest your son and his kids. Number one, that would have been a huge scandal.
No, but you know what? Like, wait, I don't think he would have sent. Maybe he would have sent for the police, but you know, hold on. No, I'm just trying to like rationalize it.
It's possible that his father kicked against it, but he exaggerated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then you know how these things work, where you send policemen to go and handle it, you know, and then they, because of the mob or the crowd that was there, they may have, you know, taken more than necessary.
Or maybe because of who sent them.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that it may not have been his dad.
But what I'm saying is that Davido telling us that, look, I had to scale the fence, running with no shoes.
Running away from
action movie, that's what.
They arrested And Charlemagne is such a savage.
He was like, even he didn't believe,
Yeah, because it's true. Like, imagine they arrested your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your dad. You can just walk out and be like, Dad, chill out. Like, and you let them go to that extent of disgracing your friends.
You know what? Yeah. What about if we had...
shows how much you loved your ex, really.
Yeah.
You left her to be arrested.
I'm surprised, you better watch out.
Exactly. She should be green with envy.
You better watch out.
Guys, just a scenario came into my mind as we were talking about this. Supposing we did have Davido here, and he does confirm this story. What are you guys going to do?
You always lie.
Are you going to sing that to him?
I mean, what are we going to do?
You know what? I think what Choma needs to go and do a remix of a song.
Why you always lying?
Reassurance. Reassurance.
You are so annoyingly petty.
Oh
no,
my
God. I'm not buying this story.
She needs to be reassured because...
I'm not buying this story.
What I'm saying is that if he did come on the show and he still reiterated it and he's still standing...
So if he said if it happened, I'm still going to say I don't believe you.
Okay.
There's no evidence.
That's all I wanted to know.
He's just going to say...
That's all I wanted to know because I'm like, are you guys...
Do you know, when people are lying, they tend to talk really fast. See the way we saw it? I should have had to tell him like, yo, slow down. Your voice shouldn't be like...
I mean, he was exaggerating.
No, there was definitely some sort of exaggeration going on. But Charlemagne, on the other hand, is also very annoying when he interviews African artists. And like I said, Cuppy's interview is the only interview I've seen where he's actually relaxed. Because, no, I'll tell you why. Because
what, you don't believe so?
I've seen people that have
Ice Prince, Tiny Temper,
Charlemagne.
Davido. I'm talking... Did you hear what I said? I said African artists.
I know.
Yeah, because in America, they didn't rate it until like Drake brought it onto the scene. Go and watch Ice Prince's interview. Go and watch Tiny Tempers, who's Nigerian but lives in England, and he's still ridiculed.
Big shout out to Ebro, by the way. Ebro.
Yeah, Ebro. Yeah, exactly. Do you understand the perspective I'm talking about now? Cuppy's one, and it was only the only reason. And even in Cuppy's interview, he was like, "Oh, in Africa, do you have this? Do you have that?" The only reason why he was doing that is because she was obviously working at Rock Nation at the time. He's also a staff of Rock Nation, so he couldn't really dumb her down.
And if that's not enough, just you wait. We've got some more captivating moments right after this quick break. It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got two of the hottest topics currently trending on social media. If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time Roundup, where we bring you some of the most electrifying clips from our usual entertainment news program, Tea Time. Check these out. 2013 Project Fame winner, Olawale Ojo, who has turned a cab driver.
Okay, two things. Number one, there seems to be this notion of not having dignity in what work you do, dignity in labour. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a taxi driver. For example, right? I mean, where I'm coming from, people's parents that are living in a 4-bedroom house, have kids that go to really good schools, are taxi drivers.
Let me quickly
and also,
ask you.
sorry, can I just add on as well? And also, like here, I mean, I've been in Ubers where the driver's a banker, or like they do other things. I mean, just because you're a taxi
additional
driver,
income.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's putting money on his table. I mean, he hasn't fallen into a cycle of, you know, winning Project Fame. Was one of the best. I loved him on Project Fame as well. He was great on Project Fame. That hasn't given him a reason to feel entitled that, look, I should be famous. He's gone out of his way and done his kind of done what he needs to do for himself.
Let me quickly ask you, which did you ever watch any of the music talent shows in the UK? Which one did you like? X Factor. Voice. And do you remember the winner for last year or
I stopped watching it a couple of years ago.
Okay, but which winner do you remember on the X Factor?
Leona Lewis.
Leona Lewis, yeah. Okay, so Leona Lewis, if, you know, at the time that she won, because it's been some years now since Leona won, if she turns out to be a cab driver, how would you react?
Listen, I'll be shocked because, I mean, I expect more from... No, I expect more from the X Factor because it's produced a lot more successful people, as well as the fact that it's been going on for years and it has a lot more structure. Now, in Nigeria, where things are a lot more turbulent, you don't expect everyone to come out and be famous straight after. I mean, even people that have record labels that are signed to one of the biggest record labels in the country can't, you know, keep up with the success and the churning out of music. So that's why, in this case, I'm not shocked that he's had to turn out to something else. I mean, you hear about these things anyway. The guy, I mean, there was only recently the man in Bill Cosby's show turned out to be a taxi driver as well, and he got a gig straight after.
Even Speedy Darlington.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Exactly. But I have to say, Speedy Darlington wasn't expecting to be discovered, but he got discovered.
But he got discovered. I know, but that's different because this guy actually had talent. Olawale actually has talent, and you know.
What you're saying? Speedy Darlington has no talent.
I'm not saying that. I think he's more of comedy.
I understand your noble view. That's very, very, very noble of you. But Olawale, to be honest, can I say, can I just say it as it is?
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for you.
Why?
There's dignity in whatever you do. Yes, fine. But I don't feel sorry for Olawale because look, we're talking about you won 5 million naira. You won an SUV as way back as 2013. If somebody gave me 5 million naira in 2018, I know what I'm going to make of it.
Yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen 5 years down the line.
Hold on. But you now had 5 million in 2013. Now, what you did with that money was go and record songs with people like Lil Cash, Tiwa Savage. Obviously, they were taking fee of like 1 million naira for a feature. You know, I don't think you spent your money wisely. You didn't have enough recognition. You dropped an album. Nobody bought it. Do you understand? Now, I'm saying if he had proper planning or if he did not let the Project Fame, because I'm getting an inside source that while he won the Project Fame, he let it get into his head. He became very arrogant. He wasn't working with his team and all of that. Now, that's an inside information. Now, that's the reason why he lost out on all that money. So if you're a cab driver now, don't expect us to feel sorry. We should give you another 5 million. Is that what you want?
Can I just say something?
You're being too harsh.
Do you know what, right? I completely understand what you're saying. And you do have a point. Now, where I think that we have to be a bit fair is because this guy went on to Project Fame as a result of being in university that went on strike and thought he would try his luck. He went on to Project Fame and then became the winner. So imagine you at that age, right? So let's say he was about 19. I'm not sure how old he was. Let's say he was about 19, 20, right? You have no guidance. You probably come from a family that's not as well off. You know, you thought you'd try your luck, go onto a show. You did extremely well. Do you know how many people, we're in Nigeria, you know how families are. Do you know how many people would have been queuing for that 5 million? He's probably doing what he thought was going to help his career with that money.
Well, I totally understand.
And he probably had no guidance. And this is where Project Fame comes in. They have a duty of care, right? Especially to him. What were they going to do? What were they going to do to help him make sure he succeeds? What was the longevity of the project? I mean, other than him, what other Project Fame winner is relevant at the moment, other than Chidinma?
Well, true that.
This is what I'm saying. Like, there's no continuation, and that's why I said I can't relate the same thing to X Factor and The Voice because Simon Cowell has a record.
Follow up.
Yeah, they follow up, and usually the winners don't even stay relevant, but they're still doing something in the background, whether that's producing music, whether that's acting, whether that's doing something. But there was no consistent follow up after Project Fame with him, and he had no guidance. But and this guy was vulnerable.
No, he had. Do you know the funny thing? According to what I discovered, he had a lot of guidance. Like there were people that were willing to advise him.
But people will still exploit him at the same time.
Yeah, they would exploit him. But he's not coming out to talk about exploitation.
He's also not asking for sympathy.
He's not asking, I know he's not asking for sympathy. And he wasn't even the one that posted the video. He was a blogger.
And the blogger said he refused to do the interview initially. So he didn't want everybody to know this. In fact, the Instagram handle is not even
and I respect that. I respect you.
We need to round up so that we can go to our next story.
But what I'm saying is that, man, when next you have that type of opportunity, sometimes they say opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Make sure you make the best of it. And that's my final opinion on this.
True, no, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
She's a party animal, she's a head turner, she's a showstopper. She's literally the life of any party she attends. She's not just an executive DJ, but one of Nigeria's foremost female DJs. She's also the president of Chalkboy Nation, and with over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the distinctive, the distinguished, and the delectable party dynamite, DJ Lambo.
Wow.
Wow, was that me?
Yeah. You didn't recognize yourself then?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
thanks for having me.
Sorry?
Oh, come on.
Thank you very much for coming on to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
You guys seem like an interesting bunch. I'm looking forward to this.
Let's start at the very beginning. Let's start with your name. Like, how did you come about with that? Or how did you come up with the name? And what does it mean? What does it entail? How was it put together?
Lambo is actually short for Lamborghini. My dad really liked the car, so he named me after it.
So your real name's Lamborghini?
You had the last name there for a moment.
I'm so gonna...
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What?
Yeah, my name is Olaumi.
Olaumi.
Yeah. So growing up, they used to call me Lam Lam. So after a while, like when I got into university, it became Lam and then Lambo. So it just kind of stuck. All my friends in uni used to call me Lambo. So
what about you?
A little, yeah. I dabble a little.
You studied English, didn't you?
Yeah, I did study English.
And so how did it go from English to music? I know your dad was obviously a DJ as well.
Yeah, he was.
So was that the main influence, or you just didn't have an interest in English?
Well, actually, I didn't know him as a DJ. I only found out he was a DJ much later. Oh, really? Yeah, I think it's probably in the genes, I've grown up always like loving music and wanting to be a part of the arts, So, yeah.
And so how hard has it been, like, kind of emerging into that market for you?
It's really tough, and like women don't have the same opportunities men do.
Please repeat that. He's completely oblivious to that.
And it's a pretty male-dominated industry, so getting opportunities in the first place is harder than it should be. Yeah. But I'm thankful that now, like DJs like me and a few other female DJs are starting to make people see that actually women can DJ, women know what they're doing. Like we actually know our onions, So things are getting better. I mean, we're not where we want to be,
exactly.
but
because I was just going to say, we spoke to DJ Cuppy a couple of weeks ago, and obviously she kind of shared some of the same challenges, that it's a lot harder. I mean, obviously her challenges are a lot more different, and there's not, as much female DJs as we would like. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because women in Nigeria aren't gravitating towards that, or it's just the industry?
Well, to be honest, like over the past year, I've met so many female DJs, like still obviously upcoming, but a lot of people are becoming more open to the idea. A lot of people are scared. Like,
sorry, are you talking in Nigeria or globally?
Everywhere. Because globally, and even in Nigeria, even in Lagos, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but I mean, like, initially when I had first started, like, there was no other female DJs because a lot of people, like, even for me, before I decided, look, you know what, I'm just going to be a DJ, I went through the motions of doing a whole lot of other things because I didn't think that DJing, because at the time, DJs weren't given as much recognition as they're being given now. And I thought being female was even like a disadvantage. You know what I mean? So I pushed it for a really long time before I finally decided to do it. So I think that a lot of young women out there might also feel that way, thinking that, because I'm a woman, it may not work, so.
How did your family react to that when you decided to, like, get into the industry? Did they support you, or were they being a bit difficult?
Well, my mom didn't like the fact that, because when I first started, I used to work at a club. Okay. So she didn't like the fact that I was out at night and sleeping during the day, you know, like literally sleeping. She's like, you're still sleeping at 2 o'clock, wake up, you know, like, you know, so I had to convince her that, you know, I'm not always going to work at the club, you know, I'm going to start doing weddings, this job is actually going to start paying, you know, and things are actually going to change, you know.
Very proud of you
so,
right now.
yeah, of course, like even before now, even when I was still, like years and years ago, she got used to the idea, you know, and she prayed for me, you know, that sort of thing. So.
Okay, so I'm going to, you paved the way for a lot of female DJs in Nigeria because you're like the veteran female DJ in Nigeria. How does that feel? Do you get a lot of recognition, like when you go out there and people recognize that, yes, she made the way for us? Do they actually show you that gratitude?
Yeah, I mean, like in my DMs, I get, like I said, like over the past year, I've met so many female DJs. Like I met a lot of female DJs who, you know, who want to open for me, who want to work with me, you know, who want me to advise them, you know, who want me to basically show them the ropes. And yeah, I mean, it feels good, but I don't feel like I'm where I want to be. I feel like I'm still very far from where I want to be. So I know there's still a lot of work to be done. So I'm not like, oh, hey, look at me, I paved the way, you know? Yeah, so.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's where we have to wrap up on Tea Time Roundup. For brand new episodes of Tea Time, watch us every weekday at 10:30 and 4:30 p.m. for morning and afternoon tea times, respectively. Until then, I remain Tokunbo Tayo saying, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Fairness, justness, balance, and credibility, as well as integrity. That's what Plus TV Africa is. The way people are going to be able to trust anything that comes out of this continent is when those who are the storyteller about the continent are reliable, dependable, and credible. Tell the story with the emotion of Africans, with the passion of Africans, with the interest of Africans. The story changes from here right now on Plus TV Africa.
Hello there, many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. I'm David Alabia, and here are the stories making the headlines. Now we begin our news bulletin with party politics in Nigeria. Kwara State Governor Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed has declared his intention to contest for the Kwara State senatorial seat under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a follow-up tweet, the governor explained his decision, saying, quote, "In response to calls by my people and in keeping with my strong desire to upscale the excellent work we have done in all 3 zones of the state through effective, purposeful representation, I have picked up the PDP nomination form for Kwara South Senatorial District." End of quote. Meanwhile, Kwara Central Senatorial candidate in 2015 elections, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, and a former Kwara State governorship aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Sunday Babalola, have said they defected from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress with over 120,000 supporters to rescue Kwara State from alleged maladministration. That's according to them. Mr. Abdurrazak said the residents of the state were ready for change, adding that politicians in APC are now more focused in dislodging the ruling elite in the state. Between the 2 former PDP stalwarts are about 300,000 supporters. Still talking party politics, All Progressives Congress has extended the deadline for the sale and submission of its nomination forms for presidential, governorship, National Assembly and House of Assembly aspirants. The party's timetable was published this week, showing its schedule of activities in preparation for the 2019 general elections. According to the timetable, the sale of forms was to last 5 days, from September 5 to September 10. However, the party's publicity secretary Yekini Nabena said the party has extended the deadline from September 10 to September 11. And now, outgoing governor of Ekiti State and a strong critic of the President Buhari administration, Ayodele Fayose, has dropped his ambition to run for presidency. Mr. Fayose on Saturday said he was discounting his 2019 presidential ambition. The governor was one of the earliest persons in the country to indicate intention to contest for the nation's #1 position early in the year, in spite of warnings that the party zoned the position to the north. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar III, has directed Muslims to watch out for the new moon of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar, from Sunday, September 9. Professor Sambo Junaidu, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto, said, quote, Muslims are therefore requested to start looking for the new moon and report its sighting on the nearest district or village. Head for onward communication to the Sultan, end of quote. The Sultan wished Muslims guidance in the discharge of their religious obligations. And now to some security matters. Elder statesman Edwin Clark says the sack of the policeman who carried out the raid in his Asokoro residence in the Nigerian capital for alleged possession of arms and ammunition was not enough if future occurrences must be averted. The 92-year-old elder statesman has called on the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to carry out a holistic investigation into the matter with a view to getting those involved to answer. He also insists that the dismissed policeman could have not acted or gotten a search warrant without directives from a superior officer. It will be recalled that on Tuesday, Nigeria police raided the home of the nonagenarian. International Literacy Day is next. The Education Committee of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, Lagos State Chapter, have called a press briefing to unveil their intention to assist government to grow education in Nigeria. They also shared their thoughts on literacy and skill acquisition, which is the focus of this year's International Literacy Day, marked on September 8th. The report.
The importance of education in the development of any nation cannot be overemphasized. These organizers say informed their desire to bring about the needed change in Nigeria's educational system.
If we sit down and keep waiting for government officials to wake up someday and begin to move Nigeria in the right direction, we probably will have to wait forever. Our objective is to make Nigeria a net exporter of educational services within the next 5 years.
Some of the education stakeholders present at the briefing had this to say.
The method of teaching largely in Nigeria now is, we've already said it is so obsolete. We give instruction, we don't challenge them to think, we think for them. I would like to see extensive workshop on teaching methods.
Each time you want to put a table on the best schools in the world, over 100, none of the Nigerian schools have been mentioned. What's the problem?
They also share their thoughts on the integrated approach that supports literacy and skills development ahead of the International Literacy Day, which focuses on literacy and skills development.
Literacy has gone beyond our ability to read and write in English, our ability to read and write in Yoruba. We have several other literacies, internet literacy, that enables children to acquire skills, that enable them to know where the information is. Literacy is key, but we must define it well. It shouldn't begin and end with writing well in English.
If you are able to read and write and really understand what it is and apply skills to it, I'm not sure we will be having this rate of unemployment in Nigeria.
I don't think we have hit the average targets Not at all, because right from the stakeholders, from the regulators, we talk it, but we really don't do it. So we need to invest in education. We need to see models outside and see how we can bring them inside. A lot has been said, a lot has been planned, but it has to be something we decide to do and we invest in it.
A very small group of educationists talking about education, literacy and skill development. How do we move the over 60 million Nigerians who are illiterate to literacy and development, which will invariably enhance our economy? What are our roles as individuals and as government? I am Felicity Esewike for Plus TV Africa.
Still on the reins, Nigeria's emergency stakeholders have warned residents to make preparations for severe flooding in the upcoming days. Speaking to a cross-section of newsmen in Abuja, the nation's capital, after a meeting of the nation's flood emergency response agencies, they say indices which resulted to Nigeria's worst flooding in decades, which occurred in 2012, have already manifested. They are also urging states to put its residents on red alert and prepare for evacuation when the floodings begin.
The flood alert, as released by NISA, indicated that riparian states and communities by the banks of River Niger and Benue may be flooded due to systematic daily rise in the water level from both rivers, Niger and Benue. Accordingly to the release by the NISA, recorded from their monitoring stations in Lokoja at River Niger and Makodi at River Benue, call for the need to be watchful for the likelihood of occurrence of flooding. It was confirmed by NISA that Shiroro Dam has joined Kainji and Jeba dams in releasing water, which has contributed to the steady rise in the water level.
Rainfall could still continue up to October. Then southern coastal states in Nigeria or cities, NIMET says rainfall will stop earliest by December. So with these figures, it means that at least we still have 3 more weeks of rainfall in the northern part of Nigeria. And then all these things we have narrated here about the current stage, the discharge, it means, like was mentioned by the Director General, that all the indices with regard to 2012 have already manifested. The remaining one is the release of water from Lando Dam.
The rest of the news at this hour continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Hey, Anu! Dad. Look, I got something for you.
A football chassis?
Hey, Adam, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
Please, come. I'm okay, thanks.
The kind of person that you asked me to be. My brother say he love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But it's strange.
There's so many goals that scored.
I no get you. I look up like this, say who are you?
So Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
Game's about to start. Quickly.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching news on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. And here's our Africa news package. Egypt has sentenced 75 people to death in mass trial that involved 739 people including prominent Islamist leaders, over a 2013 pro-Muslim Brotherhood sit-in, which ended with the killings of protesters in support of former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi. The verdict by Judge Hassan Farid El-Shami was announced on Saturday in Cairo's heavily fortified Torah prison courthouse. Others tried in the case include Brotherhood spiritual leader Mohammed Bedi, and 46 others were handed life sentences. The trial has been condemned by Amnesty International as a grotesque parody of justice. And according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, 1 million people are on the brink of famine in South Sudan due to insecurity and lack of humanitarian access. Humanitarian organizations are urgently appealing for funding to respond to the escalating crisis.
According to the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, 1 million people are on the brink of famine in South Sudan due to insecurity and lack of humanitarian access. Famine was declared in February in 2 countries as 100,000 people faced starvation. The famine is attributed to armed conflicts, displacement, missed cropping seasons, and livestock raiding. Humanitarian organizations are urgently appealing for funding to respond to the escalating crisis. $1.6 billion is required to provide life-saving assistance.
We do have the food supplies here, but it's not just about food. It's importantly also about nutrition. And we really need relative peace and security so we can have a greater footprint of humanitarian workers here to provide nutrition services, to provide health services, to provide water, sanitation, and health.
We need to have safety and security in this location before we can come back to do the distribution as we're going to do now, but more importantly, to be able to establish much longer term activities.
The height of the